Made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast, episode 57. Hunter Keister back with.
Okay, Mac, let's go.
And we are back to talk about another weekend sport, mostly going to be focused around the NFL and the college football bowl season. And starting off, we're going to get into Week 17 as the NFL regular season nears the end and the playoffs are set to begin. It is now crunch time for everybody trying to make the playoffs.
It's about that time, so let's get into it.
Oh, yeah. Thursday night, December 29th, Cowboys at the Tennessee Titans. 7-8 Titans, 11-4 Cowboys. So, yeah, the Cowboys sit 11-4. They're going to be the
Most likely
one of wild card spots. And
the fifth seed.
Yeah, that's crazy how the seeding works. It does not make sense to me at all. I get the whole division and the division, but it just sucks because usually it's the NFC East that's so bad, but now it's the South and nobody from that division deserves to make the playoffs, and it sucks that somebody has to miss out because somebody has to get in from that division.
Yeah, I feel like they'll never change that for whatever reason. They like having division winners get in, even though they might not be one of the better teams in the conference, but NFL just has a way of doing things, and they just don't like to change.
Yeah. No, that is 100%.
Except when it benefits them by adding an extra week and adding an extra playoff team.
Yeah.
But as far as this game goes, they're saying that Derrick Henry's doubtful to play tomorrow, which that's a huge blow to Tennessee. Malik Willis is their quarterback for now, and he didn't really look too good last week in the loss against Houston. With that Philadelphia win, a big game for them.
Yeah.
40-34. Hard not to pick Dallas here. Unless it's a big letdown.
Yeah, especially without Derrick Henry. I mean, that was really their only saving grace for me. And that just finding that out makes it a lot more lopsided than I originally thought it was going to be if he, in fact, doesn't play.
Yeah. Thinking they're probably going to sit him and save him for their last game of the season versus Jacksonville to see who wins that division and gets in.
Oh, it comes down to next week, most likely?
Yeah, it's insane. Jacksonville in the playoffs, possibly for now. But yeah, Dallas. I'm definitely gonna pick Dallas here to win.
Yeah, I'm picking Dallas by 14 points. Give me I'm gonna say like a 28-14 win for Dallas.
Yeah, I would definitely in that way. Heading into the games Sunday, starting off at 1 o'clock. Arizona going to Atlanta.
Yeah, a lot of these 1 o'clock matchups are just not very good, and you will see the kind of pattern that the NFL kind of set up for this week. But just not a whole lot of meat on the bone for the NFL side. Luckily, we got a jam-packed Saturday that will.
Saturday's where it's at this weekend.
Yep.
Saturday is where it's at this weekend.
Yeah, we will save that for Friday, but...
Absolutely.
Moving on to looking at these garbage 1 o'clock matchups in the NFL. Cardinals, Falcons.
Colt McCoy is going to be back. Desmond Ridder played last week for the Falcons. They lost to the Ravens in a low-scoring kind of a fair game.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Cardinals with, that game Sunday night was pretty boring. Not going to lie. Trace McSorley, no bueno.
Oh, that game was terrible, yeah. That game was terrible.
Yeah, the Cardinals-Buccaneers game, yikes, overtime. I'm probably going to go with the Falcons in this game. You can pick either one. Arizona's a 4-win team. Pretty sure Atlanta only has 5 wins. I'm going to go with the Falcons and probably a low-scoring game here. Don't see much offense being scored. Or maybe since both defenses aren't good, there'll be a lot of points scored. I don't know. But give me the Falcons.
Yeah, I'm taking the Falcons 21-17. Both these teams are terrible, but somebody's going to win this game. I don't think they end up tying, so I'll take the Falcons 21-17.
All right, heading into the next game, division matchup, Chicago on the road to Detroit. Chicago comes off of a loss at home versus the Bills. Detroit with a very underwhelming performance versus the Panthers. A game they really needed to win.
If they wanted to stay alive in the playoff hunt, yep.
Yeah. So now that really puts them in a bad situation, a bad spot. But nonetheless, I am going to pick Detroit at home to blow the Bears out, honestly. I think they come back with the win this week to try to find a way to sneak in as the 7th seed.
Yeah, I don't like the Bears team. Justin Fields has been banged up, and he's really the only real offense they've gotten the entire season. 3 wins on the year. They're on the road playing the Lions, who still are fighting for a playoff spot, trying to sneak in there. It became a whole lot less likely with the really bad loss to the Panthers from last week, but I do think the Lions at least get a 10-point win. I could see them winning like 27-17 type of game, and be like 24-14 for the Lions.
Moving on to the next game, division matchup, Jacksonville heading to Houston. Jacksonville with the win over the Jets last Thursday night. Houston with the win over Tennessee. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the other win for Houston is against Jacksonville. I'm going to pick the Jaguars here to win. I think they keep rolling. They've played really good the past month and a half. Lawrence has actually really looked pretty good. I think a big reason why is Doug Peterson's. I think he's probably a pretty good quarterback guru, honestly. I mean, somehow he made Wentz look really amazing. So, nonetheless, it was 1 year, but I feel like Trevor Lawrence is really hitting his stride right now, and I think the Jags win this game big. Give me the Jaguars here for sure.
Yeah, I just don't like anything the Texans are doing. Davis Mills is alright. Dameon Pierce has been good. Not real much production out of the receivers. The defense isn't giving you much. I haven't even really heard Derek Stingley.
No, he plays. I haven't heard a whole lot of him either.
Huh.
The thing is with Houston, they've been in a lot of close games. They just lose them.
They have been in a lot of close games. But I think the Jaguars beat them by 14 plus. I don't think this game's close.
Heading to another division game, Denver on the road at Kansas City. Denver just got trounced on Sunday, 51-14. And the Chiefs with a win over Seattle from this past Sunday. This is the second matchup of the season for these two teams. Denver lost a narrow game a couple weeks ago against the Chiefs. And honestly, after that game Sunday, it's hard not picking the Chiefs again here as they look to try to get that number 1 seed from the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to pick the Chiefs here to win. And honestly, they've beaten the Broncos, I think, 8 years in a row now. I'm just going to go with Mahomes and the Chiefs. Not much needs to be said.
Yeah, I just feel like Denver's going to come into this game, and Russell, he's already shaken up with a really bad year. Probably feels like a lot of the blame on Hackett getting fired is his own fault. And he did come out and say that he was devastated by him getting fired, and that he felt that it was a lot of him to blame. So I feel like he'll shoulder the blame for his firing and probably not have the best rest of the year, to be honest. I think the Chiefs beat the Broncos very handily this week.
Heading into the next game, Miami at New England. For division matchup, these two teams played, pretty sure it was like week 1, and the Dolphins won that game.
Mm-hmm.
The Dolphins will be without Tua, who has entered the concussion protocol for the 3rd time this year. And honestly, I think he really should look into maybe just taking a year or 2 off or so. I don't know. I feel like suffering this many concussions in a season is
not good.
It's not good for your health. It's not good for your brain.
Yeah, I agree.
to be honest with you. That's honestly really scary
Yeah.
to think about. I don't know if it has to do with the helmet he's wearing, or I don't know, but he lands in the back of his head. I don't know I'm not sure.
Right.
But it's just really uncommon to hear of something like this happening this many times within one season.
Yeah, really scary, really alarming situation.
So, stepping in his place will be Teddy Bridgewater, who's not bad, not the worst, not great. He's a solid game manager. Won't win you the game, but won't kill you. Patriots need this game, or they're eliminated for the playoffs. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
So Miami, if they win this, pretty sure they secure a playoff spot. So both teams have a lot on the line here. If I'm picking someone, this is tough. Patriots almost won that game against Cincinnati. Maybe if they keep that second half magic going, they win this game. And I'm gonna pick the Patriots. I just feel like Tua, that's a big loss.
Wow. Yeah, this game is really, really close to me. But I do also think that the Tua loss hurts just a little bit too much. Give me a 7-point Patriots win. I think this game will still be close, and I think that the Dolphins will still be able to put up points with Bridgewater, but I just don't think they have enough without Tua to get the job done. And the Patriots really need to win this to try to stay alive in the playoffs.
Next matchup, Indianapolis Colts heading to the Giants. Colts with a pretty boring Monday night game loss against the Chargers. Giants with a very competitive close ball game Sunday against the Vikings. I mean, Nick Foles played for the Colts. I'm not sure if he's playing again, but I'm definitely going to pick the Giants in this game.
Yeah. The Giants are right on the brink of possibly making the playoffs. They need a big win. The Colts just haven't had anything go their way this season.
No.
And it's been another lackluster year for the Colts, so I think the Giants get the job done.
Next matchup, New Orleans at Philadelphia. New Orleans with a win on Saturday versus Cleveland in Cleveland. The coldest game in Cleveland history, believe it or not.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Eagles with a very exciting, high-scoring affair with the Cowboys, but lost 34-40. So, if Philadelphia wins this game, they will clinch the division and first seed.
Can the Saints play spoiler? Hopefully they don't, because I want them to lose so they can get a better draft pick.
It's a lose-lose for the Saints because the Eagles have the Saints' first-round pick.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, it doesn't really matter.
I guess it really doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yep. It doesn't matter.
I feel like I'm going to pick the Eagles. I feel like Minshew it's not going to kill them this Sunday. I mean, they didn't even punt once against Dallas, believe that or not.
Yeah, that's crazy.
With
Minshew especially.
I feel like coming off their second loss of the year, Philadelphia will take care of business and basically sit their starters Week 18.
Yeah, they need to win way more than the Saints do, and I think that's just the difference in this one. The Saints just need a quarterback real bad, and Philly's going to keep marching on. So give me it'll be competitive, but decent one for the Eagles here.
Next game, Carolina heading to Tampa Bay for second matchup of the year, division game. I'm pretty sure the winner of this wins the division. I'm pretty sure. Carolina's already beaten them once. Tampa Bay with the overtime win on Sunday. Panthers with a win over Detroit. Wow. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Tom Brady and the Bucs being in this position.
Right.
Never seen this before. And, honestly, the Panthers have played a lot better than the Bucs have recently. The past 5 games or so, I think the Panthers have actually won 4 out of 5. While Tampa has just, man, they've been struggling all year, it feels like. And honestly, I'm going to pick the Panthers. I'm going to pick the Panthers, but man, oh man, could I see the NFL pulling some stuff to get the Bucs in. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, I'm flat out. I'm picking the Bucks just because I think the NFL wants to try to sneak the Bucks in there
Absolutely.
as a last seed or even host a playoff game with they could end up getting Dallas in a playoff matchup at home.
That's very likely.
And then who knows what Tom Brady can do if he hits the playoffs. So I'm picking the Bucks.
Yes, we'll see you there. Next game, Cleveland heading to Washington. Cleveland's already out of the playoffs. Washington's looking to stay in. Deshaun Watson has not looked the best, but it's hard. I don't know why anyone was expecting him to come in and light things on fire.
Yeah. This is the best way that he was able to come in. Now he can come in, learn the offense. There's really no pressure, and you can get ready for next year. Because if they had come in and they were like right in the middle of the playoff race, and then you got to decide who you're putting in. Because what if Purcell was doing crazy numbers or something? So I think this is a good situation for them to move forward.
And Washington needs this win, but I don't know why they're deciding to start Carson Wentz.
Yeah, that's a mistake.
And honestly, because of that one move, I am going to pick Cleveland to win this game. Wentz will, when you need him the most, he'll come up the shortest. I mean, he's a turnover machine. I don't know why you go back to him after you've already made it this far with Taylor Heineke.
Yeah, unless he was hurt or something undisclosed. But I completely agree with Kurt on this one. I just think that the move to make Carson Wentz the starter is the Commanders' downfall in this game. And I think that Deshaun Watson is able to play enough or good enough, and that Browns team will be able to play better than the Commanders as a whole. And I could see it still being close, but like a 10-point win.
Really? You think by 10?
Yeah.
Okay. That'd be something. But moving on to the 4 o'clock games, San Francisco heading to Las Vegas. Niners with a win over Washington on Sunday, and Raiders with a loss on Saturday to Pittsburgh.
Jared Stidham.
The Raiders have announced that they are going to Jared Stidham for the rest of the year. Man, oh man.
The former Auburn Tiger.
Yeah. This one to me is it's not even close.
Yeah.
The Niners are playing really good.
Yep.
They're honestly probably, in my opinion, they're probably, top 3, top 2 NFC team.
Absolutely.
I could argue they're better than Philly, to be honest with you.
Right.
But that's for another day. Give me the Niners in this one. The defense is legit, and Purdy's playing pretty solid, about as good as you can ask out of a third-string quarterback. So
yeah,
I think the Niners will go into Las Vegas and take care of business.
Yeah, I just don't like Jared Stidham. Comes in, thrown into the fire basically end of the year. I just don't think he'll be able to get thrown in and beat a really good and really hot San Fran team. So give me the Niners in this one.
Heading to the next game, New York Jets heading to Seattle. Gino at home versus his former team. I'm pretty sure the Jets are playing Mike White over Zach Wilson this week, if I'm not mistaken. I think Mike White got passed after the rib injury, so pretty sure he's playing. Seattle and the Jets coming off of both these teams lost last week. Both these teams need to win here. Absolutely. Yeah. They're both trying to get into the playoffs, so I think this will be a really close game. But Gino hasn't really played too well the past month. I feel like he's really came down from where he was playing during the season. The Seahawks finally got Kenneth Walker back, and he's been looking better. I don't know. It's a pretty good matchup. You got Tariq Woolen, rookie corner for the Seahawks, going against Sauce Gardner. I mean, both rookie corners really good. thought this would be a really low scoring game, but give me the Seahawks like 14-10, 14-13. I thought this would be a really low scoring game.
Yeah, I like that. Something like a 17-10, maybe like a 20-13 Seattle win. Really close, low scoring. Geno hasn't really looked the best, but gets it done. I think Mike White can keep this game competitive, but I just don't think the firepower is there on either offenses. Kenneth Walker could maybe exploit this game and maybe make the Seattle win a little bit bigger, but that'll really just
you got some pretty decent matchups. DK, as Sauce goes against him, it's pretty interesting. And then Garrett Wilson versus Woolen, who's I feel like nobody's even been talking about him.
He's solid.
He's got a lot of picks this year. I don't even think he was really even picked that high, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So that should be an interesting game. Heading to the 425 game, Minnesota at Green Bay. Minnesota's already won that division. Green Bay is coming off of a couple wins. They beat the Dolphins on Sunday, and they're looking to try to sneak in to the playoffs. So, got some stuff here on the line for both teams, I guess. Not really Minnesota, but I know Jefferson wants that record, so I'm going to take the Vikings to win here and end the Packers' hopes of the playoffs. I think they've been playing pretty good most of the year. I mean, they have a lot of close one-score wins, but still they're wins. Kirk Cousins has been playing pretty good the past couple weeks. Maybe this is a bit of a high-scoring game, but the Vikings already beat them once, and I think they're going to sweep them this year. So give me the Vikings.
Yeah, I like it. I like Jefferson chasing that Randy Moss record to try to continue his very, very, very good play. And I think Minnesota goes on the road and puts the final nail in the Rodgers and Packers coffin for the season. And they improve as they're a top team in the NFC in their own right.
Yeah.
I think the NFC is definitely a lot more interesting than it's been in years past, for sure.
Definitely different teams in there compared to what it's been. Moving on to the next game, Los Angeles Rams on the road at Los Angeles Chargers. Baker versus Herbert. Rams come off with that big win Sunday. Chargers, a big win for them on Monday because they clinched their playoff spot as well. So that only leaves one spot in the AFC left. I could see the Rams kind of keeping this close. I think they'll compete, but I like the Chargers to come out with a 24-14 kind of win. I don't know, the Rams, they've honestly looked better since Baker's played there, but I just feel like they're not going to really be able to score a whole lot of points. They did just get 51 points Sunday, but
it's the Broncos.
Yeah.
Russell's turning the ball over 5, 6
5 or 6.
Man. But yeah, I do think that the Chargers get a close win against the Rams. The Rams have some injuries, and I think the Chargers, they got a slight chance to make something happen at 9-6.
They gotta look. The Chargers are looking here to start heading into the playoffs, playing good. The Rams, their season's already a tank. I mean, Aaron Donald's not even playing.
Yeah, you might as well just call it a year. So yeah, give me the Chargers.
You're probably just looking for the Rams. Maybe Sean McVay's looking at Baker as their next quarterback. So maybe just see what we can get going there with your rhythm and offense.
Right.
But I like the Chargers here, probably in a close kind of game. But nonetheless, Chargers win. Sunday Night Football. Oh boy. Pittsburgh heading to Baltimore. A big game for both teams. The Ravens are looking to win to try to win this division. They've already clinched a playoff spot. Pittsburgh's trying to win to get into the playoffs and try to keep the Mike Tomlin 500 winning record season streak thing alive, whatever.
Well, if they lose this one, then he can't get it then, right?
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Jeez.
Because they'd be 7 or 9. Yeah.
The Ravens gonna kill the streak.
They might. Second matchup of the season for these two teams. They played a couple weeks ago. Baltimore with the win in Pittsburgh.
Lamar Jackson, is he playing?
No. He missed practice today. I know it's Wednesday, but I'm just going to say this now. I'm pretty sure I've already said this before on here, but Lamar Jackson is not coming back this season. I'm not confirming that, but I'm letting you know my gut feeling is he's not coming back because he's not going to play again until he gets his contract.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's just my gut feeling, especially after seeing Kyler Murray suffer a torn ACL 3 plays into the game a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I just feel like Lamar, in his sense, he's like, I've already done enough to earn a contract. Why do I need to play more?
Yep.
Tyler Huntley's probably going to be playing. You can pick either team here. I'm hoping for the best, so I'm going to pick Pittsburgh here in a very close ball game. Very similar to the Raiders game last week. I expect this to be a very low-scoring game. I think both defenses are going to do their job. And ultimately, it's going to come down to whatever team doesn't turn over the ball. Just like how the last game was, and that's why we lost. Because Money Mitch was throwing picks. I like the way our defense has actually been playing the past couple weeks. And so, I think Steelers get it done. Probably 14-13, 17-16. Very close game. Nonetheless. Even though the Steelers season could be over by Sunday night if the Dolphins win. So, I don't know. Just something to keep tabs on. But give me Pittsburgh to win.
Yeah, I'm taking 20-16 Baltimore. I like Baltimore as a complete team, and I like them. I think as a more casual fan, I think I'd rather see them in the playoffs than Pittsburgh. Knowing with that quarterback situation, they're just going to get smacked around by whoever they play. I feel like the Ravens give off more of a potential to me to put up a fight against one of those teams than Pittsburgh would. So I like a really close game. Should be another good, exciting installment of this rivalry. And we got some really good. There's some good games in the NFL. We got some, obviously, the biggest games in college football on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna be a great weekend. But, yeah, give me 2016 Baltimore.
All right. Heading to the last game of Week 17, Monday Night Football. Buffalo heading to Cincinnati for a very big game for both these teams, as Buffalo is currently the number 1 seed, and I believe Cincinnati's number 3, as the Bengals look to try to get that first seed in the bye week. Bills come off of a win over the Bears. Bengals with a win over the Patriots. First half they played great. Second half not so great. But nonetheless, they both get the win. And if I'm going to pick a team here to win, I don't really like saying this, but I like the Bengals more than I do the Bills right now, to be honest with you. I feel like Josh Allen, I want to say he's the league leader in interceptions right now.
Yeah, I do believe he is, yep.
And that's a huge red flag.
Yeah.
Especially in these playoff games. You can't be throwing picks. You can maybe get away with 1 pick, but you cannot get away with multiple. The Bengals at home, I'm pretty sure everyone's healthy there. Burrow's playing good. The Bengals are on a big win streak. If I'm not mistaken, I think they've won like 7 or 6 straight now. And so, honestly, to me, they're probably the best AFC team right now. And so I'm going to pick the Bengals here to win. And a very, maybe not super high scoring, but I like the Bengals probably within 1 score, probably 27-24, 28-24 type of game. So give me the Bengals with a big win.
Yeah, I also think that the Bills are kind of trailing off right now, and the Bengals are going to start to hit their stride with the big game from Joe Burrow and a big home win for the Bengals. I like 27-21.
So that's all the matchups for Week 17.
Oh yeah, that'll do it. NFL season's winding down. Nice little Week 17 coverage. Now we can get into the next couple NFL topics. The first being the Raiders deciding to bench, obviously, Derek Carr. We talked about that a little bit. But I wanted to dive into it more. I pulled up some comments that Devontae Adams said, and I will read that out and just kind of get Kurt's reaction to those. So, in quotes, he just said that he didn't think anybody was excited about it in the locker room, pretty much. He says Derek Carr is one of his good friends, and the reason he came to the Raiders, he made it known to say that he wouldn't be there right now if it wasn't for Derek Carr. So, is he foreshadowing maybe leaving if this is DC's exit now from the Raiders? What do you think, Kurt? What do you think happened?
I don't really blame the Raiders. I mean, it's kind of messed up to bench him, but it's hard not to after that performance last week. But I feel like Derek Carr's honestly been a very team-first kind of guy. And so that's why he's been there so long. And, I really feel like him doing that after being benched, isn't really... It's kind of like he's just given up, in a sense.
Yeah, it said that they talked about it, but to me, that's just such a bad look. And off the air, when me and Kurt were talking, I said that reminds me very much of the Cade McNamara situation with Michigan and Iowa. Obviously, DC hasn't went to a new team yet, but just the principle of quitting on your team before the season's over. I think you said, regardless of what the future may hold or what next year may look like for you, you battle with these guys the whole year. And I think to not want to be a distraction, I think that's just a sorry excuse for your pride's hurt because you got benched.
Yeah. Honestly, I think this is their way of each other departing.
Yeah, this is also kind of, to me, this is also kind of the sunset, wave goodbye. I think this will be the last time we see DC and the Raiders.
Honestly. Which, I don't know if Devontae is going to stay there, but, if that was a big reason why he went there, was to go with him, because they were former college teammates.
Yep.
Now you're looking at, you're probably going to draft someone or sign someone, and now you pretty much got to rebuild.
Uh-huh.
And that's not what you went in for by getting Devontae after making the playoffs last year.
No, I definitely didn't expect it for them to compete so much with the eventual Super Bowl runner-up, right?
Yeah.
And then to this season, bottom of the barrel, and what's looking like in the face of a full-on rebuild with some fire McDaniels already trending on Twitter, which is insane to me. But
I wouldn't be surprised if they did fire him in the offseason. I mean, it's just a mess because they had John Gruden last year, and then they fired him after that slip-up. I don't remember what happened. I forgot what happened. But then they had an interim head coach, and he actually does a good job, gets them to the playoffs, and then this year, bringing in a new guy, and Josh McDaniels, más o menos, so. But I feel like he's kind of a product of Bill Belichick, being their coordinator there with Brady and Belichick for so long.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I feel like Derek Carr's probably out, and that may draw some questions as to if Devontae is going to stay or not. Right. So, what a mess. What a mess. All because you couldn't close out a lot of games.
Yeah.
Multiple games with 10-plus point leads, and you blew multiple games. I mean, right off the bat with that Arizona game.
Right.
And then you lose, and what was it? I remember there was like a play during that game where Colin Murray had like 20 seconds to make a play. Just, yikes.
A lot of stuff did not go right for the Raiders in this season. Not at all. Especially after the year that they had last year and the hopes that they were having coming into the season.
Yeah.
Crazy to see them
after adding
tumble this bad.
Devontae Adams and Chandler Jones, you had hope, but Chiefs rule that division. So, get used to that.
Right. Well, we'll stay in the NFL, but we will cover now the Denver move that they made in the last calendar day or so. Nathaniel Hackett is out after 15 games. Doesn't even complete one full NFL season as the Broncos head coach, and he is already gone. What do you make of that, Kurt?
I feel like it can't just all fall, like, it can't all just fall on the head coach.
Right.
You know, obviously with where they're at, he's definitely made some questionable decisions. But I mean, look at the hand he was dealt here. You know, a quarterback that, say whatever we want. You know, we know what Russ used to be, but man, he has not. He's been honestly pretty horrible this year.
Yeah, one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the league, 100%.
I mean,
and that is crazy because I thought they were riddled with injuries, so I'll give him that. But there's no excuse to look as bad as he looked. There just isn't.
No.
And for a player of his caliber, it's just unexcusable. And I mean, this will be next year. I mean, they bring in a new head coach, so who knows if Russell even gets brought back into Denver. But if he does, he's really got that one last year, and then he might be done there, right? So
this is another mess we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know,
potential waiting to happen.
You could tell the body language of the players was, you know, they just weren't in it. You know, whether they gave up on the quarterback or head coach or both. Just like the Raiders, you know, you had a pretty decent squad last year. I mean, the Broncos, ever since the Super Bowl, have always been pretty meh. You know, they just always lacked that quarterback, so they went all in to get Russell Wilson. They gave up all their sources, their resources, you know, money, draft picks, players, and now you're kind of stuck with him for a while. Unless you cut him after this year, which that's a lot of dead money on your cap. That's a lot of dead cap.
Yeah.
So, I'm not surprised, you know, you kind of have to when your season's this bad, but I'm not going to blame it all on one coach. You know, at the end of the day, he runs the whole team. And some coaches are just meant to be just coordinators. Like he was if I'm not mistaken, he was the Packers offensive coordinator the past couple of years.
Yep, that's where he came from.
Originally. So maybe Denver hired him to try to lure Rodgers away last year during the time when he was, quote-unquote, a free agent.
Yeah.
And then that kind of backfired. And like, well, let's go for plan B.
Right.
And Russell Wilson, you know, we're talking about somebody that was just an MVP front runner a couple years ago. I feel like he's just not as good anymore because he's had to carry that Seattle offense for so long. It sucks, but that's just what it is. Yeah. I'm not going to say, I know we're getting off topic, but some people are saying he was just a product of Seattle. I wouldn't go that far. You know, he did have a great defense in Marshawn, but after those guys left, the only reason why Seattle was ever relevant was because of him. Like, he was balling out.
Right.
He was the only reason Seattle even had an offense for the longest time. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you could have waited till after the season to can him instead of having an interim head coach for the rest of the season and then hire a whole new head coach next year.
Right.
So, Denver, again, you're in the Chiefs division, so just get used to it. Get used to it, especially after you just traded away your draft picks, all that money. I mean, I'm surprised the GM wasn't let go.
Yeah, you guys are in a real tough spot to be now going to be in the middle of a rebuild with no capital to rebuild with. So you are definitely behind the eight ball for the first couple years of this rebuild.
I mean, even when you look at just at the next draft, Seattle has your first round pick.
Right.
Like, they have most of your draft capital in the near future, and they took away a couple of your players. So, they went all in, and when this stuff doesn't work, this is what happens.
Yeah, they crashed and burned real bad.
So, maybe you run it back with Russ next year, but
you really don't have a choice to do anything.
What else are you going to do?
Right.
There's nothing else you can do. Another gamble, that backfires.
Yep. Absolutely. What a shame.
Yeah, it would have been kind of cool to see. I don't know, just it's nice to see change, you know. Right. Sometimes change doesn't work, but I don't know. I just remember how much hype was around Denver. I mean, some people were calling them Super Bowl contenders. I wasn't going that far.
Absolutely.
I mean, we were talking about they could probably compete in that division, but
yeah,
I knew it wasn't going to formulate that way.
Right. For sure. All right. Well, to end off this podcast, we are going to touch on a couple of the most recent bowl games that have happened. So I'm pretty sure we left off right around the Wake Forest, Missouri game.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
So, Saturday, December 24th, the day before Christmas, Middle Tennessee State took on San Diego State, and Middle Tennessee State comes away with a win, 25-23. East Point Hawaii Bowl. That'd be dope. And you can spend the weekend of Christmas in Hawaii. That'd be awesome. Monday, December 26th, the Quick Lane Bowl. New Mexico State barely beats BG. Gosh darn it. Come on, BG. 24-19. They take the loss in the Quick Lane Bowl. That was in Fort Field. Tuesday, December 27th, Buffalo, Georgia Southern, 23-21 Buffalo in the Chameleon Bowl. And this is the Crampton Bowl. Memphis, Utah State. Memphis with a huge win.
Memphis.
With a huge win. 38-10.
Not even close.
East Carolina took on Coastal Carolina in the Ticket Smarter Birmingham Bowl. And East Carolina won 53-29. And Wisconsin beats Oklahoma State 24-17 in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Today, the 28th, we had the Military Bowl. Duke 30, UCF 13. Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. What is that? AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Arkansas, Kansas, 55-53, triple overtime.
Holy.
Triple overtime. 55-53 Arkansas.
Oh my gosh.
And that was the game that ended the night. Well, I think there's some games going on right now. Yeah, because we just were talking about I do believe UNC got the win. Got the big win over Oregon. Yeah, I don't see them anymore. I do believe Oregon caught the L on that one. Alright, well, I think, let me scroll back down here. I think we got the ones that we needed to talk about. Oh my god, they came back! 28-27 Oregon!
Really?
Yeah, with 19 seconds left. Bo Nix! Never mind, I take back everything I said bad about Bo Nix. He made the comeback. Oregon gets the win. 28-27 in the Holiday Bowl. What a game. 19 seconds left. Chase caught a 6-yard pass from Bo Nix. 8-play, 79-yard drive in 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And Bo Nix, with ice in his veins, gets the win. Looks like Texas Tech is up on... There's a game going on right now. That's criminal. On a Wednesday night... Texas Tech 26, Ole Miss 13. Third quarter action.
Ooh.
But yeah, I think that will pretty much do it. A nice NFL / college bowl game talk. And we will be back on Friday night to deep dive into these playoff games, some more bowl game action,
oh, yeah,
and everything in between for this week in sports. So we hope you guys enjoyed episode 57 made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast.
57.
Let's go. It's almost playoff time. College football, NFL. It's go time.
Woo.
Let's go.
It's getting hot in the kitchen.
It's getting hot. It's definitely getting hot. Hope you guys enjoyed. We will see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Adios.